Welcome to another tutorial all about tracing your own Wojak character and building it in Illustrator and then converting it to a Character Animator, but I'm going to be showing you that in another tutorial. So today's tutorial we're just going to be tackling the fundamentals of drawing your character and getting it ready. So we'll just be opening up Illustrator today. So first of all, let's take a look at the canvas size that we're going to be using. It's actually a 4K size that I like to use. So these are the measurements for it. As you can see, it's 2160 by 3840 pixels, and that's a 4K portrait size resolution, perfect for a character of high quality. So you know that your animations and cartoons are going to be just top notch, so that's the one to choose. So this is roughly what your Illustrator setup should look like. As you can see, you've got the canvas there showing you the boundaries of the image size, and then to the right of that you've got the layers panel showing you what layers are made up of your drawing. And then to the right of that you've got a thin vertical strip, which is the actions attributes, and then the panel on the right hand side of that, the far right, is the properties of those action attributes. So if you're wanting to select the actions from the vertical strip and then choose some of the options in there, they'll appear on the far right hand side. And then we'll take a look at the parts that we need to go through individually for you to really work together with Illustrator to create the best effect. So first of all, let's have a look at what's next. If at any time you're looking for an action, you can come up to Windows and on the menu and have a look in the tabs there, and it should have a tick beside which ones are shown in the long vertical strip to the right hand side. Okay, first tool is the selection tool, which is the top left arrow. Next to that we have the direct selection tool. The arrow on the left, the selection tool, will allow you to click and hold and drag completely an object, whereas the direct selection tool, that's a bit different. That allows you to click on an object and then click on the individual part of the object, such as the stroke or the fill, and we'll get into those later on. Next we have the paintbrush, which you'll be doing all your drawing with. There is the lasso tool that will allow you to select any of the strokes that you've done with the paintbrush. The pen tool is an accurate way to control your strokes with the mouse, and you can join up lines with it as well. Then you have the basic shape building block tool, which allows you to create rectangles, curved rectangles, circles and ellipses, or custom shapes. Then in the shape builder shortcut you'll find the live paint bucket tool. And if you have reference colours to pick up, you can use the eyedropper tool here to get those colours. If you find any of these tools are missing from your shortcuts, you can use the treble circle shortcut at the bottom of your toolbar to highlight more options, and then you can click and drag or select which ones you want to be included in the toolbar. Next we have the layers panel, which is where you make up all the different sections of your drawing. First name your character, which is in this case Wojak, and then under that make a new layer called body. So then we're going to fire up ChatGPT 4 and get an animation style sheet. So I'm going to type in something like stylish summer shirt, an outfit, sandals, shorts, bald head, standing slightly to the front and to the side, perfect for an animation, 1920 by 1080 profile. Okay, as you can see, the first option that it's brought back is brought back front, side and back. So we kind of still want an in-betweener in there. So let's try again. I'm just going to ask for an in-betweener between the front and the side. So this one's brought me back another front and side and back. So let's try another time. So this last image I think is a much better one. This is more of an in-betweener. So I've just downloaded that and opened it in Photoshop, and I'm just going to cut out the image that I want to take and then put it on its own new document layer. Then you'll need to save your image somewhere useful, and the best place I find is my YouTube folder, and then the name of the channel, and then inside assets and bodies. Then come back to Illustrator and go File, Place, and then open the image that you've just saved and paste it on the document. Now you can resize them with the selection tool and dragging on the corners. Now you should have a new layer with your image on, and what you want to do is have a root layer that's on the bottom of your body and character layer. So make a new layer at the top and then drag your image into the layer and then drag that layer down to the bottom. Now I can work through my layers, and the first layer I'm going to start with is just inserting a head layer. Now let's save the best till last. And although we won't be drawing Wojak's face first, let's now move on to the neck. So first thing to do is grab the paintbrush tool. Then we're going to come down to stroke colour and select the right hand side border looking box. And we're going to choose a bright colour that contrasts with the colours on our background image. And you can test it by doing a stroke across the different body parts and then do Ctrl Z to undo the stroke, and just try it a few different times just to see what the colour's like. In this case I'm settling on a pinkish purple. Okay, so let's draw the neck. Now the first thing you do is overlap on the other border areas of where you're drawing. So we're going to have to overlap the shirt and we're going to have to overlap the head. Okay, after we've drawn the neck, now we want to zoom in to the connection point and the overlapping areas. And if we zoom in here, we can see that the lines cross, but there is no connection point. So the next thing we're going to do is select the Pathfinder's action option, and you can find that in the window selection, and if it's not there, just select it. In the Pathfinder's box there's two rows. The first top row is shape modes, and then the second row Pathfinders. You want to select the second from the far right, which is outline. Making sure first that you're clicked and highlighted on the correct layer. The line will change to a transparent selection line. Now select from your appearance panel and choose stroke and change the colour to black. That makes the line easier to see, and if we zoom in we can see that we've got a connection point across where the lines intersected now. Now you can click on the section that's the overlapping line part, and if you press the delete key once it will delete the line, and then you have to press it again to delete the anchor points, so that's twice you press delete. In some cases you might get a gap like shown here, so in that case go to stroke. In the second row where it says cap, choose the middle one, round cap. Now you can see we have a perfectly joined line and it looks clean and tight. So I'm just going to continue on with the rest of the tracing. So just for the chest layer, I'm again using the same overlapping principle. I'm just overlapping where the design is and intersecting round where the other layers that connect are. Now if we zoom in here, we can see that there's a deceptive vector that shows that there could be a connection point if you were to mistake it for that, but it actually isn't, because we haven't done the pathfinder and then the outline yet, so just be aware of that. That's not a connection point. So as you can see, I've got a layer for each section that I've drawn, a layer for the left chest shirt side, and then a layer for each shoulder, a layer for each bicep, elbow, forearm, wrist and hand. So I'm just going to start the waist now. The foot can be a bit tricky to get looking right in Character Animator, so in Illustrator I like to do the ankle, the heel, a bridge for the main part of the foot and then the toe, and then that way you can copy those layers over and paste them into the opposite leg layer. Next, come to Wojak Studio on the website, download from bases one of the base face characters. Then just place your head clip art on the image and right click on it and select transform, and then reflect if you need to change it the opposite way around. Position the head the way you want it, to the size roughly, and then change with the help of the opacity option and transparency so that the image is more see-through and you can find it easier to trace and match up with the location of the master image. So I'm just going to trace the head now, making sure to overlap the area where the neck is from the black line that we very first done. With the eyes, you put the eye socket on eyeball layer, and then the pupil goes in pupil layer. So there we've got our character finished, and you can see the structure of the layers that I've already made. And there we have the final version of the traced element first. So now for the next video we're going to import this into Character Animator. So thanks very much for sticking around for the whole tutorial. I know it was a long one, and hopefully we can move on the next tutorial to Character Animator, so stick around for that. In the meantime, please subscribe and like the video, and thanks very much for watching. Have a great day, take care, bye bye.